Hello, this is Photography Gamer. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm reviewing Metal Gear Survive for the PS4. The game is also available for the Xbox One and Microsoft Windows. Metal Gear Survive is a survival game developed by Konami. You play as a soldier caught up in a scientific experiment. Basically, a wormhole opens up over Mother Base and sucks you and the base into a place called D-Tay. D-Tay is a world in a different dimension, although it's clearly just the same map from Metal Gear Solid 5 with less people and more fog. So long story short, your mission is to find your way back to the real world by any means necessary. The game is online only and can be played solo, but also has an online co-op option. So what is the game like to play? Well, you start out creating your unique character and the options available are pretty good. You can sculpt your face, choose a haircut, scars, and make your voice unique by deciding on the pitch. So once you're in D-Tay, you have to survive in a bleak and barren world. Your life and stamina bars are affected by various things like eating, drinking, how much physical activity you do, and how much gear you're carrying. You can sprint, but honestly, you rarely will as it depletes your energy greatly. So you'll end up jogging everywhere, which doesn't really help the speed of your progression. You'll have to hunt, forage for supplies, find watering holes, and keep your eyes peeled for wanderers. Wanderers are like these zombie creatures with Kuban crystals embedded in their heads. If they see you, they'll attack, but they can be easily fooled. And the Kuban energy you get from killing wanderers is essential in Metal Gear Survive. Kuban energy is used for everything, whether it be leveling up, crafting items, or acquiring additional oxygen. Everything costs Kuban energy. Initially, the game can be a bit of a struggle, but thankfully you've got an iDroid to manage all your gear and you've got 2 AI assistants at your home base. After you've grinded for a while, you'll start to craft decent weapons and armor, but at the beginning you are stuck with basic spears to deal with the wanderers. The wanderers alone aren't really that dangerous, but if you run into groups, you'll have to adopt defensive positions, use barricades like fences or sandbags to give you protection. Personally, I think the first 5 to 10 hours of this game is a bit of a struggle because it's very slow and it takes a long time to get a decent weapon. I think they could have sped that up a bit, it would have been probably more beneficial. But if you do want the better gear, you've got to craft it. To do that, you've got to get the blueprints, and if you want to get blueprints, they are in the dust. So the dust is a region of the map covered in dust, obviously. Visibility is low, oxygen's low, wanderers are frequent, and you venture in there with an oxygen tank that runs out over time. When it runs out, you can buy more with Kuban energy, but it really costs a lot, so it just kind of becomes this sort of place you go to, have a quick run, head back to your base, and then go back in again. But I'd say the dust, it can be a bit frustrating, but it's a pretty tense and challenging region, especially when you're in the kind of old ruins and it's very dark, oxygen's low, you've got weird enemies everywhere, it's quite tense and quite stealthy. So if you're a Metal Gear Solid fan, you're probably thinking, what on earth has this got to do with Metal Gear? Well, that's a good question. The gameplay is so far removed from the previous games, it feels a bit weird they used the Metal Gear name, but they clearly did it to just sell copies. But be clear, this is a survival game and it's all about resource gathering, exploring the map, collecting items, extracting enemies, collecting Kuban energy and using all those things to craft weapons, build bases and improve your survival. Speaking of base building, the system, it's not as freeform as other survival games, but it's okay. You basically have a base, it's on a grid-based system, so you can place things in each square from workbenches, defensive positions, like farming, etc. So as I said, it's a bit of a laborious task travelling around because you're always jogging, but you can find teleportation devices around the map. And once you've defended them, you can then travel long distances in an instant. But for me, the most fun I had playing this was during the horde defense sections at wormhole diggers or teleportation devices. You've got to prepare the area with mines, with traps, fences and other defensive structures. Then you just have to survive all the waves to complete the mission. Finally, the customization options are pretty good with the option to colour all your clothing, customise your undergarments and add accessories to your outfits or weapons. Okay, so graphics. The game looks very similar to Metal Gear 5 and I'm pretty sure it uses the same map in parts. The character models look good and the character creator lets you do some really kind of unique types. However, the game is quite drab in terms of the map and it's all very washed out. The colours are beige, browns, all very muted. The sound effects are lifted from Metal Gear 5 and those along with the voice acting are pretty good on the whole. The music is good also, but the voice for the AI at your base is possibly one of the most annoying voices I've ever heard. Okay, what's good and what's bad? What's good? The game has a clear and linear structure. The horde defense sections are fun and satisfying. The progression system, albeit slow, is well implemented, and there is a good sense of satisfaction as you and your base develop. Unlike many survival games, this one has a high production value with excellent presentation and aesthetics. The customization options are pretty good, and exploring the old ruins in the dust is very tense. What's bad? The pacing is a bit of a problem as progression is very slow. Using the Metal Gear name seems like a bit of a cash grab move by Konami. Parts of the map feel recycled from previous Metal Gear games. The online mode is redundant as no one is really playing it anymore, and it's a game only survival fans will enjoy. So, what's the verdict? Metal Gear Survive is a decent survival game with AAA production values and an easy to follow progression system. But be warned, it's a very slow burner and one that might be a bit too much of a grind for some gamers. It's not the best survival game I've ever played. It's not up there with Ark or The Forest, but it's a damn sight better than many other games in the genre that have had much more favourable reviews upon release. Yes, it's not a game for everyone. I mean, if you don't like survival games as a genre, then this one is not going to convert you. Let me be clear about that. But if you like survival games and you're looking for a new one, and you also like Metal Gear Survive is definitely worth having a look at. You know, I've played literally every survival game in the last few years and I do enjoy them, so you know, I'm probably at a better place to review this. So it's not a riveting experience, like it's not the most fun I've ever had. The hordes were exciting, and when you're in the dust, your oxygen's running out, you've got enemies around you, you're stealthily sneaking around in this mist. That's quite tense and enjoyable. Most of the other gameplay, the exploration, the crafting, the resource gathering, it is a bit tedious, but it is a survival game, and you can probably say that about most survival games. Gathering resources, it's not riveting, but it's a loop, and if you enjoy that kind of loop, I think you'll enjoy this game to an extent. But it's not perfect, but it's a damn sight better than I thought it would be. So, my score for Metal Gear Survive is 7.5 out of 10. Okay, that was the review. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. This is Photography Gamer, signing off. Thank you.